All right, hey, good evening, although it's morning now, and it's actually Halloween when I'm filming this. So, don't be scared, all right? Anyway, we're going to learn more about trig identities. That's kind of a scary thing all in its own. But before we begin identities, we need to talk about a few particular guidelines, all right? And what are guidelines? No, it's not from the Johnny Depp movie Pirates of the Caribbean. You know, like remember they talked about the code, and like he said, and Keira Knightley goes, hang the code. They're more like guidelines, really. That's what these are, guidelines. Doesn't mean you have to follow them, but this is a good general idea of what to do to begin with. And first off, generally easier to work one side of the equation, and usually want to start with a more complex one because it's usually easier to make it simpler. We want to make things simple as we can. Next thing is simplify it, which means maybe factoring, add the fractions, or maybe square a binomial so we can get it in terms that we can actually maybe do something with. It's a good second step. Also, if you need to have a common denominator, you cannot add fractions unless it has a common denominator. So that's real important if you see something that's different. Also, reciprocals are very important. Look for reciprocals a lot. They're helpful, especially when you're first learning identities. People usually start with those, they're the simpler ones. And write things in terms of sine or cosine. A lot of tangents can be changed to sine over cosine. Think about your Pythagorean identities, especially if you have a squared, which is what the next one is, Pythagorean identities. Anytime you have a squared, you might be looking to see if those are possible answers. Once again, these are guidelines. When working identities, look for maybe one of these to do first. And what I always recommend is this: try to find one thing. Just make one change. Then after you get it, make another change. And you'll be amazed at how much you can do by just trying to do one thing and not trying to do a whole lot at once.